Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and there's a new psyop in town, a new shift in the overall agenda where people will be easily distracted. Will Obama go to jail? Well, of course, this has been all over the news the last couple of days over what they call Obamagate, which they say is a new Russiagate. Tulsi Gabbard releases overwhelming evidence of Obama coup plot against Trump. Declassified documents show top Obama era officials, overruled intelligence findings to manufacture the Russiagate narrative, Gabbard says. Now, Trump has shared a video on his True Social of Obama being arrested by the FBI. Now, of course, it's AI. This to me is another example of where we're heading as far as the distraction mechanism that the media machine will continue to play following the Epstein controversy, following the arming and funding of Ukraine, following all this stuff that we have seen as of recently, which of course does not look good for Trump. And of course, we all know Obama was a horrible, corrupt, drone bombing psycho. And of course, we'd all like to see him in jail. But there's two ways that this could play out. Either he doesn't go to jail, or he does, and there is another agenda that could easily play out in the aftermath of that, which I want to go into with you guys today, my friends. Before I go into any of this, because there's new information coming out as well, I also want to urge people to go and check that link in the description and help support us if you can. We put up this content for free. We've turned down $1 million contracts because we believe in telling the truth and not telling other people's narratives. And of course, because of that, we've gone bankrupt. We're down 90% in revenue since January. And of course, in the face of all of that, we still get called shills for daring to put the option below for people to donate. So we appreciate any help we can get. And thank you to those who have on gogetfunding.com, Patreon, and Subscribestar. $4.99 a month or more on Patreon, Subscribestar, or exit at World Alt Media. Get to exclusive content, my friends, including getting early access to many of our videos. Also, make sure to check out our Bitcoin address in the description, or you could scan it on the screen here to donate. We truly appreciate that, as well as our Cointree link, which you could donate to. It's a bunch of different cryptocurrencies that you could donate to if you please, including privacy coins. So thank you. Our PayPal address is ancientwonderstelevision@gmail.com. It's all in the description. Anything helps, my friends. Go and subscribe, like, comment, and of course, hit the notification bell over on Rumble and BitChute at World Alternative Media. Now let's get into this. So Tulsi Gabbard releases overwhelming evidence of Obama coup against a coup plot against Trump. Now, this is all over the media right now. I want to be clear that obviously I want to see Obama put in jail for the things he's done. He's killed tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people through war. He was an incredibly corrupt president, but I also want to remind people that presidents aren't actually the people that are in charge. As Trump shares this video, this AI video of Obama getting arrested on his Truth Social account, utilizing this video where Obama says that nobody is above the law, especially the president of the United States. And so, yeah, it's funny to watch. Okay, great. But now Trump is actually saying that there could be an arrest. He has already put it out there. Zero Hedge says betrayal of every American. Barack Obama now squarely in Russiagate crosshairs. New disclosures from a Tulsi Gabbard-led working group point directly to the top as a legacy of hope and change begins to plunge to the ocean floor. As Matt Taibbi writes for Racket News, Barack Obama entered national politics with a smile that looked like hope and change amid rumors of family discord and disarray within the political party he once led. His face has hardened. He lately looks bitter, resentful, exhausted by the act. Well, again, he was just a puppet. He was the guy they put up there to put his thumb in his fist and tell everyone how he's going to bring hope and change and all that kind of stuff. Of course, the regular garbage. The plot was essentially that not only was Trump spied on by the Obama administration, but also he was seen in these declassified briefings to have orchestrated the entire Russiagate hoax, which, if you remember, back in 2015, 2016, 2017, and onward and into the 2020s, was this narrative around how like Trump was working for Russia and taking orders from Vladimir Putin, which was repeated ad nauseum for a long time and was obviously absurd. It's ridiculous. But of course, that was a narrative. Trump was taking orders from Russia. Let's look away at the fact that Russia doesn't have a massive lobby in the United States, but Israel does, AIPAC, and the blackmail from Epstein. But let's look the other way. It was all Russia, right? Russia, 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 as they said. Well, of course, that was always an absolute falsehood. However, there is this idea that they wanted to normalize this idea of war between the United States and Russia. And under the Biden administration, it got very close to this point where both Biden, through the U.S. government, the military, not really Biden, the shadow government, and NATO, were arming and funding Ukraine, sending long-range missiles into Ukraine. But again, I want to also mention that Trump is currently doing that. He is sending weapons to Ukraine to be used as he had been caught on video saying that he wanted to bomb Moscow. He threatened to bomb Moscow and threatened to bomb Beijing. And that was in 2024, while he was still claiming that he wanted peace and all that. And before Netanyahu, nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize. But now he is saying things like he asked Zelensky if Zelensky was capable of striking Moscow. Again, this is all part of the normalization mechanism, which is involved in a giant psychological operation, the PSYOP, which includes the left and the right. So, of course, they need to normalize this idea under Obama and then under Biden to then bring it in under Trump as a Trojan horse while everyone is looking the other way. But, of course, it'll look like, oh, well, Biden had Trump arrested, true. Well, again, not Biden. Biden couldn't tie his own shoes or make it to the bathroom. Obviously, he was a puppet, but so is Trump. Point is, yes, Trump was arrested. That was a major part of the PSYOP to get everyone to believe that he was on their side as he covers up for Epstein, as he puts $3.3 trillion into the budget, as he brings in digital IDs and CBDCs across the board with the Genius Act and with these with the Skynet policy that he put in through the Genius Act. Or not the Genius Act, the Big Beautiful Bill, as he arms and funds Ukraine, as he attacks Iran after arming Israel with Hellfire missiles to preemptively attack Iran, one of the top allies of Russia and China, as the world moves away from the Western power structure to the Eastern power structure through BRICS Plus and the collapse of the dollar, which takes, it takes decades to happen, but we're now reaching that endpoint where that CBDC comes in as a replacement, as we've been reporting for over 10 years. So again, all of it is falling into place dramatically well, considering also that the Eastern Bloc was propped up by the West in the first place via, World War I, World War II, Russia, of course, and then after the fall of the Berlin Wall and the propping up of Russia as this new state, this new redemption state, if you will. While, of course, 1948, the propping up of China, and as well as Henry Kissinger saving China from starvation, quote unquote, again, he won a Nobel Peace Prize as well. Amazing. Obama, Henry Kissinger, and then they're calling for Trump to get one. People need to understand where this comes from. But anyway, that led to the creation of the Trilateral Commission. Zbigniew Brzezinski and the Rockefellers prop up China as a superstate for technocracy, a guinea pig state, if you will, a litmus test. And now we see that today where Klaus Schwab says China is a role model for the Great Reset. So you need all this normalization to lead to war, to lead to instability, to lead to a conflict, which then leads to emergency orders and then leads to the replacement of the current system with the new technocratic one, with the digital ID system, with the food rations. Obama suggests prosecution after declassified briefing reveals Obama-era Russia probe origins. President Donald Trump over the weekend called for accountability following the release of declassified records showing former President Barack Obama and senior intelligence officials were aware that the 2016 Trump-Russia collusion narrative was unfounded. A December 2016 presidential briefing, declassified by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, confirmed Obama received intelligence concluding that Russia had not manipulated the presidential election and that no evidence supported claims of cyber-based election interference. Elections are fake, my friends. It's all fake. They always say that if you don't vote, you're sitting on your hands. But when you vote, you are quite literally sitting on your hands, waiting for someone else in the state to fix the problems that the state created in the first place. So good luck with that. Continuing on, it says additional findings disclosed by CIA Director John Ratcliffe indicated that former CIA Director John Brennan, FBI Director James Comey, and Director of National Intelligence James Clapper worked together to initiate and sustain the investigation using the Steele dossier, despite internal knowledge that the documents contents were fabricated. The intelligence report stated, and I quote, we assess that foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome this year. We have no evidence of cyber manipulation of election infrastructure intended to alter results. Yet he was pushed for impeachment and sued, and of course had to face that off, and it was thoroughly debunked. But nonetheless, it says, despite that assessment, Obama administration officials, including Brennan, Clapper, Comey, and former National Security Advisor Susan Rice, continue to advance the collusion narrative publicly and through media outlets. And I quote, these documents detail a treasonous conspiracy by officials at the highest levels of the Obama White House to subvert the will of the American people and try to usurp the president from fulfilling his mandate, Gabbard said. On Saturday, Gabbard appeared on Fox News to reiterate her calls for prosecution. Remember, don't forget, Tulsi Gabbard, who flip-flopped on Iran and claimed that there's weapons and now still claims there's weapons as they perpetuate the war machine, also said, was also, by the way, confirmed by a pharma Israel funded house. Later, I hate to be the negative guy, but I hate to be right too much on this, but I am, unfortunately, because the reality is people keep falling for these narratives and thinking, oh, well, it's coming. And then the whole QAnon thing, like trust the plan, trust the leader, sit on your hands, wait and see what happens. And that is one of the most dangerous places we could be right now, because both sides of the political paradigm are on the same side. They all have their own Trojan horses to get that side in and pull that side in and pull it further and further towards authoritarianism under the guise of a different thing, of a different enemy, of a different security concern, of safety, of money, and while they impoverish the public. I mean, it's just, it always works this way. I want to be very clear that this, if people will say, well, Trump's better than Obama, well, I would agree based on, in theory, what he says, but what we're seeing him do, he's getting away with more than Obama can get away with at this point in time, in this point in history, at this point in the narrative, because we've moved a lot, we've shifted a lot, and now they have to come up with new psyops to bring us in. It says later that evening, White House spokesman Harrison Fields issued direct criticism of the former president during a Fox News interview, and I quote, Obama's hands are on this. And what is he doing now? He's over here with his wife doing a podcast, walking with flip-flops on the beach, acting like his whole career was everything and a bag of chips, Fields said. It wasn't. It was the most corrupt presidency we have ever seen. We thought Joe Biden was bad. Now we know who was behind it all. It was Barack Hussein Obama, and we need answers. President Trump responded to the developments in public statements with a post on Truth Social, writing, great job by young and talented Harrison Fields on Fox News. The panel was fantastic on prosecuting Obama and the thugs who have just been unequivocally exposed on highest level election fraud. Congratulations to Tulsi Gabbard. Keep it coming. Now, I want to be clear here that, again, it would be great to see Obama put in jail, but there's actually two sides to this. And it's not that Obama is innocent by any means. He is just as guilty as the shadow government by being the henchman that goes forward and says all these things to lure the public into authoritarianism. But this narrative that Russiagate is now Obamagate and it will lead to many deep state arrests. This is QAnon kind of level stuff. It's hopium, and hopium is a powerful drug. It's bad to have no hope. It's bad to have too much hope. It's about being realistic here and also understanding how they will manipulate and utilize this stuff to distract, again, from all these other things that are happening right now. And of course, the narrative has to change into this to make it appear as though we are going in the right direction after a few weeks of absolute horrible, media. And of course, with this idea of many deep state arrests, we've been waiting for that since 2017. And of course, Guantanamo Bay and all these places that are going to bring George Soros and Hillary Clinton to justice. Well, I haven't seen it. And again, we all knew Russiagate was a hoax. We all know that Obama was involved as the poster boy anyway. And we all know at this point that we're living in one psyop after another, and this is one of them. Gabbard to release more Obama Russiagate files cannot fathom how Durham, Mueller missed evidence of years-long coup. Well, they didn't. They knew. Everyone knew. And they knew also, I mean, Trump was in office in 2017 to 2021. So what about that? A lot of this stuff happened before he was in office. So again, where were they then? Again, they just need to release this information at the right timing, just like, oh, we have Epstein files on my desk. Oh, we lost them. Actually, no, here they are, but totally redacted for national security reasons. Oh, actually, we don't have any Epstein files. It never existed. Like, this stuff is so ridiculous. As David Icke writes, divert, 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 as Benny Johnson shares a photo of Tulsi Gabbard, a CFR member and abortionist, by the way. And again, we have a lot of people rightly speaking out about this. 5 times August writes on X, I don't know how to break this to a lot of you, but Barack Obama isn't going to be arrested. Same reason Epstein clients won't ever be arrested. Same reason Comey won't be arrested. Same reason Fauci won't be arrested. Same reason Zuckerberg won't ever be arrested. Same reason Bill Gates won't be arrested. Nobody you want to go to jail will go to jail. You've been conditioned to perpetually allow very bad people to get away with their crimes in exchange for internet memes and sound bites. Very true. Now, there's another thing here that I cannot help but consider. As Sassafras84 wrote on X, I don't care, do it anyway, arrest Obama. She shared this meme from at Sports Politics X. It says, if they arrest Obama like they should, we all know it won't happen. You know damn well all the hood rat thugs and criminals will be out in full force, rioting, looting, assaulting certain people, and doing other criminal activities. You know what Democrats call protesting. Well, absolutely. And they always, they always create a little convoy with the police and these provocateurs to do this. And of course, they want protest season to kick off. And of course, they have rent-a-protester companies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think this is a good point, though. Yeah. I mean, if he were to be arrested, which he should, this would just lead, he probably wouldn't even actually be arrested, much like Epstein. He'd be on a beach in Israel somewhere. They would create the narrative around this, around, again, puppets getting arrested for what the shadow government told them to do, like Trump, like Obama, like Biden, like any of these guys. Okay. And then what happens next? Chaos. And then what happens next? Emergency orders and new restrictions to bring in the technocratic grid, the digital ID, the CBDC system, the 50-minute city. They will always try to create conflict and manufacture crisis order out of chaos, my friends. This is what they do. I'm not justifying them not doing it. I think that it should certainly happen, but I know how they use this stuff, and that does not mean it's hopeless. It just means that the solutions aren't within the state. They never have been. I mean, the justice comes from individuals and withdrawing from the system and not feeding the beast, not allowing the mosquito to bite and suck the blood. They should not feed into the system. Again, none of these politicians are really in charge. This is from the expose. Central banker tells his nephew, we control the press and the politicians. And again, we have been talking about this for many years. Meanwhile, the continuation of the arming and funding of Ukraine happens. UK to launch 50-day drive to arm Ukraine to bring Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table. Ever notice how West's peace plan always starts with bombs, says RT? Well, we've recently done videos on this very subject. If you've watched us recently on Rumble and BitChute, as Trump sends more weapons to Ukraine, as Trump threatens to bomb Russia. It's all been one normalization hoax, one after the other. Russiagate. And now they're going to say there's going to be mass arrests. Give me a break. They want to cause civil unrest within the country and international unrest outside of the country, destroy the dollar, destroy the supply chain, destroy the grid, destroy the internet as it stands, create replacement systems for it, to then force us into under emergency orders as they destroy the food supply and give us food rations, and of course, all based on our social credit scores. As they bring in the United Nations Pact for the Future last September, 193 countries signed onto it, which will then shut down your bank account if you say things negative about the government or the official narratives, and force you into a ration-based system. I mean, they already tell you what they're going to do. Again, these things are distractions. Again, yes, arrest Obama, throw him in prison. As David Icke says, divert, divert, divert. That's what they're doing. And the mainstream alternative media is falling for it. You won't find the mainstream media saying this. You won't find the mainstream alternative media saying this. You won't see We Are Change, who simped for masks and injections and all sorts of stuff for many years, saying this, or Tim Pool bowing to the new narrative network and taking sponsor money from companies that we would never touch. You won't see them talking about this, but we'll talk about it because, look, we are already unpopular enough, and we continue to get buried by our own by the things that we say regularly because we refuse to give up on the actual facts here. We are seeing psyops. One of my main things, my agenda at World Alternative Media, is to find the psyops, psychological operations, which we're seeing pile up on top of each other. And for those of you watching on YouTube, again, go to Rumble and BitChute at World Alternative Media, subscribe there. Do not watch on YouTube, watch on these other platforms, but nonetheless, because we'll be gone again. But nonetheless, I already know the psyops, even involving me, where they're putting me on YouTube again to normalize, not to normalize, to get machine learning off of what we're saying and create narratives based on that. And of course, go after us and those that watch us for what they see and what they learn. Again, it's all about creating that digital system. It's already on you. You can't escape it. You can reject the system that they try to push us into. That's what the way that you survive this is. You can't avoid the fact that this is coming. The reset is coming. It's about how you get outside of that system and withdraw from the system and don't feed the beast and be independent and individualistic rather than dependent on the system that they want you so convenienced by, which tyranny comes under the guise of convenience. But nonetheless, our idea is to always go after psyops. And as I was mentioning before, if you saw us over the last several years when we weren't on YouTube anymore for 5 years, one of the main things we focused on was psychological operations. And we try to look at stories that we see in the news and find where they're manipulating our minds. And it's happening, my goodness, constantly. And not a lot of people watch mainstream media anymore. They're watching alternative medias. And therefore, the alternative medias, most of the major ones, are being manipulated and controlled to use against you. And therefore keep you in the narrative on a side road. So all roads lead to Rome. One road goes this way, it forks off, here's alternative media, and then comes back together at the end and goes straight to Rome. And of course, to this Tower of Babel they're building in this technocratic future. While I say go off on the slower, bumpier, less convenient gravel road that we build on the side and don't end up in Rome, go the different way. And of course, it's less convenient. Yeah, it's slower, it's bumpy, whatever. It's not easy. The solutions aren't supposed to be easy. They're supposed to be based on individualism, humanity. You watching here today are the solution to the problem for yourself and your family. And I want people to take it seriously. And that's the number one thing I want to put out there. So while we're talking about Obama, when we're talking about Trump, when we're talking about the left-right paradigm, the Pepsi and Coke, one's red, one's blue, they're both owned by basically the same company. They have the same ingredients, but they're supposed to be different. But at the end of the day, they all come together. And what about RC Cola? It's a bit different. No, it's the same. It's just the offshoot. Get out of the political system that controls us. Stop looking for politics to solve the problem of politics and be an independent individual. They want you weak. They want you compliant. And they do that by making you dependent. So be independent. Withdraw from the system. And I urge people to check the links in our description for ways to withdraw from that system. So I make like no money off this. So people keep complaining about this. I've made $0 this month off this. I've been promoting this for years without making any money. The idea was always to help support people with solutions. Go to heavensharvest.com for long-term storable foods that are non-GMO. There's organic kits, heirloom seeds, water filtration and storage, and books on how to get started. Use code WAM, W-A-M, and get 5% off as well as free shipping on these items. And there's also freeze-dried food. Again, like the idea, and people think that, oh, well, how dare you put ads and everything? Well, first of all, I'm putting out free content every single day. And second, I'm bankrupt and trying to make sure that we can continue making videos. But also, I've shut down every opportunity to make a bunch of money by following narratives and saying what they want us to say. And instead, I continue to give these solutions, which I actually believe in. organic food that you can store for 25 years. I mean, give me a break. This is an amazing idea that you can't get at your local Home Depot. So I urge people to go and check it out. Heavensharvest.com, code WHAM, W-A-M. There's also whambeef.com for 10 plus year shelf life, freeze-dried steak, 12 servings per bag. You could also get freeze-dried chicken and ground beef. Use code WHAMBEEF, W-A-M-B-E-E-F, all one word, and you will get 20% off on your order. So I highly recommend people do that. Guaranteed no mRNA, no lab-grown meat, all American beef that's 100% natural, my friends. And so that's a great way to avoid the ration-based system to come. Also, check out our link for Wild Pastures, where you'll get 20% off for life plus $15 off your first box of 100% grass-fed and finished beef, pasture-raised pork, pasture-raised chicken, and wild-caught seafood. No mRNA, no GMOs, no hormones, antibiotics, steroids, feedlots, pesticides, or chemicals of any kind, all raised on regenerative family farms in 48 U.S. states, delivered to your door, temperature-controlled and customizable as you see fit. You're saving your local farmers, my friends. This is a big option there because they're under attack. You're also saving yourself money, and you are saving yourself as far as your health goes from the things that are put on your local grocery store shelves. So I urge people to get on that today. That link is in the description. All of our links for health-related things we cannot mention on video. So you'll have to check it out on Rumble and BitChute and check out our recent health-related videos, which we cannot post on Rumble, but we have options, and I urge people to check it. Also, check out firstnationalbullion.com/schedule-consult/. It has to be that exact link. And there you can avoid the CBDC system, work with Mark Gonzalez, and buy physical gold, silver, platinum, or palladium. Hold it in your hands, put it in a vault, or put it in an IRA outside of the traditional IRA system. Schedule an appointment for a free consultation with Mark Gonzalez and a complimentary investors package. He's a man that's awake, has been doing this for a long time. We make many videos with him. Let him know in the comments of the forum that you found him at World Alternative Media or WHAM, W-A-M. And this is a great solution. Again, all about withdrawing from that system. And if you want to help support us, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we have gogetfunding.com, Patreon, and Subscribestar. Thank you so much to those who've helped, and we couldn't survive without you. Patreon and Subscribestar, as well as X at World Alt Media. For $4.99 a month or more, you can get exclusive content. So I highly recommend people go and check that out. We have a PayPal address, ancientwonderstelevision@gmail.com, and we have a Bitcoin address that you can scan on the screen here or check out in text form in the description. So go and check that out. We appreciate those donations very much. So we have a Cointree link with a bunch of different cryptocurrencies that you could donate in if you please. And we have a Teespring store with a bunch of merchandise. Again, it's great to get that information out on the street, wear the shirt, get the mug, and also help support us at the same time, because we do depend on you guys, and you are the heartbeat of independent media. So we truly appreciate it, and thank you. As always, you can find us on Telegram, band.video, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, and Brighteon at World Alternative Media. We're on Hive, Steemit, and Vigilante.tv at Josh Sigurdson. We're on the Bad Guys, TikTok and Instagram, World Alternative Media, Twitter and Getter at World Alt Media, and all the major podcast platforms except for, of course, Spotify, because they banned us. And I mean, we've been banned from a lot of places, so no surprises there. But anyway, hit that like button, share on social media, hit the notification bell, and hit subscribe if you have not yet already. And as always, my friends, live freely, live by example. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.